Let's call the meeting to order, and very first thing is a pledge of allegiance. You know, let's put the media to work. Let's have our media guy lead.
There we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, man. When you write that article, you can put the very first, where you have your byline or whatever, and leader of the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
And later of the Pledge of Allegiance. On our roll call, gentlemen, Mr. Sigmund here, Mr. Howe here, and Mr. Cox, we're all here. Let's move right into our active agenda. Any communications or any letters? Nothing? Okay, then let's go right into the approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 11th.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the meeting of February 11th.
Seconded by Mr. Howe. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right now, let's move into the financial.
Financial statements for month ending January 31st, 2025, Casey Farrell.
All right, let's go to the information sheet and back.
I'm trying out your all's. There, Paul. Right now,
Sorry.
right now, this is what we're all going to be getting.
Oh, okay.
Right now,
You mean I've got to sit and hold it like this and read it and
no, you just prop it up.
Profit.
like,
Let they're seeing.
oh, it's like an iPad,
It is, yeah. It's called a Surface.
a Surface. All right, we're getting.
Yes, keyboard.
Getting
Here's keyboard.
technical. Was there a cover for it or
That's the
anything?
cover. Go right on
It
top
does
of
both of it?
Yep.
So, all right.
This is actually a operating, this is the
Well,
computer.
when you mentioned the computer, I was looking for a keyboard. Now I see
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you, man. How long would it take to get something like that once we get?
Well, if you all like it, we'll order them tomorrow.
How much are the?
It's what you use.
No, they haven't been out.
Now, will that stand up though? Will that stand on its own?
Mhm.
Yeah, how's that work?
Got a little prop thing up right here.
It'll stand up on its side.
Oh, so it's vertical, you can turn it, it's probably
Yeah,
still stand like
yeah.
that. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I don't know if we can spend that today or not, make a purchase or not. I've asked you to look into it.
Well, it's within my guidelines to.
Well, what do you think, guys?
Yeah, I think it's nice.
It'll beat this.
Yeah.
That's just a few meetings.
Is that big enough? I mean, like I said, you all can,
Yeah, that's plenty big enough. I think it's really nice looking and we can expand it.
Yeah, the nice thing is you can go back and look at.
That's what I like.
yeah, you can, yeah, because everything's gonna be archived. You can
Oh,
go
yeah.
back in.
Then it shuts, so it's protected.
Yeah. See right there, it's it's magnet
Protection.
right there.
All righty.
And it's even got a pin inside.
Oh, for location.
Actually,
No.
a Pin.
When you download minutes to us and so on, it's a sort of like an email thing. You just email to all of us onto that.
Mhm.
Is that how it
And you
works?
actually get a Clarksburg Water Board email address instead of your personal.
Okay. Will there be any pen protections or anything like that as far as?
Yes, and then IT will go through all that with you.
Okay, no problem.
This will give it like a net, I don't know much about technology, but for net, like, for tracking, like if it ever gets lost or.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And these are also cellular. So you'll have, no matter where you're at, you'll have internet.
What do you think, Mr. Sigmund? Do you like to think we ought to move to that and get away from using all this paper, killing all those trees and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be more convenient, you know, just.
Yeah, sure, save our copy machine would.
Whole closet full of paper in there. So.
And all that stuff's gonna be archived. You'll be able to go back to all your past packets and stuff. They'll bring all that stuff up.
So they're going back and
All-
digitize that. They're going to scan it all or something.
For the long run, I mean, you know,
Okay.
be more green and less for the. Just
Well,
last
what
for a
what do
long
you guys
time.
want to do? I mean, he's got the authority to do it. You agree to this particular type of unit?
Yeah,
You're okay? Are you okay?
Mhm.
Okay, then it's unanimous. You've got the authority to do it, but you'd want to please us first, I know.
Yeah, I wanted you to see it before we
Okay.
tested it. Yes.
Does it come in colors?
No. That's it. One color's all you get.
Mr. Sigmund wants one with the WVU logo. on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind one of that.
I can see what
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I like you,
Or
sure.
Steelers.
All right,
Or
that's one thing out of the way. Let's move on then.
All right, Jake, sorry about that.
Financial stuff.
All right, we are 58.33% through our fiscal year. at the end of, end of January, sorry, can't speak today.
All right,
We've had, basically $3.2 million cash on hand. Our total debt is 4.442 million. Our debt service factor right now is 7.21. Our water sales is $5,640,511, which is 61.3% of our budget, which puts us over budget by 3.03%. Total revenues is $5,985,557, which is 61.56 or 61.56 of our budget, which just puts our budget by 3.22 for our total revenues, and our total expenses is $4,284,029, which puts us at 52.92% of our budget, which we're under budget by 5.41%.
and for the people who may be watching, because we do have an EV group now or internet group, you're talking budget, we operate on a fiscal year.
Yep.
It's July 1 to June 30. So we're more than halfway through our year. So everything's in line.
And our chemicals are at roughly 55.77% of our budget. For the month,
Debt
as
services.
of January 31st.
And the debt service is still looking good. So any questions, guys, on this? Hearing none, make a motion to accept those reports, everything officials that we reviewed.
I make a motion that we accept the financial report.
Motion by Mr. Sigmund.
Second.
It's been duly seconded. Any further questions, discussions? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let's move on, Mr. Manager.
Okay, the next thing we got here is a budget revision. This will be budget revision number 3 for the fiscal year. This budget revision is going to include the addition of the bulk water filling station system and the Lloyd Avenue line replacement project, which we will talk about later in the meeting. So with that, I'll let Jason go over budget revision number 3.
Okay.
All right, we're just gonna take this, the money that we're gonna do for we got 2 budget revisions. It's towards down there towards the bottom. It says capital improvements with cash currently on hand from capital reserve accounts.
So this will be again depreciated, right?
Yes, it's a capital item. So it's-
Capital item.
Yes, so I revised the budget and I put in the bulk water station. I put in 80,000. Only reason I put in 80,000, it also gives us a little bit of wiggle room to take care of the prep work.
Incidental stuff.
Yeah, and anything else that
It
might
makes us a little over $12,000 for site prep.
site prep.
So that's
Hopefully we
reasonable.
won't need to use all of it.
And then I put in, then we have a revised section down here for Lloyd Avenue line replacement. This is just for materials, because under my understanding that we're going to use our guys are going to do that, so their salaries are already worked into the budget. So the materials for this project going to be roughly about 75,000. Give or take a little bit. There's still be a little bit of contingency in there for that, for, price changes or anything they may need.
Were we able to, I remember there was a little, we were able to stay on the same side of the road in that, was there a storm ditch or something we wanted to, not have to cross?
On Lloyd,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna let us open cut, so that's gonna save us on the boring.
Great, okay.
And then also there's, I think a sewer line, we're gonna be able to save a little bit.
Nice.
How many customers out there? There's not that many houses. Are there?
11.
Less than a
I
dozen.
think there's 11, but there's 10 active connections up
10.
there.
Okay.
So
I didn't know we had this coming up. I saw it this first time on
Yeah, no,
It's been a while.
Yeah, we've been talking about it internally.
Lloyd Avenue.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever mentioning Lloyd Avenue.
We've had so many service calls up there. Bobby can attest to this. I mean, every time we go up there, it's a 2-inch galvanized line. It's old. I'd say, what is it? Probably 3/4 inch inside because of all the buildup.
I
If
know-
that, if that.
I
That's
noticed,
feeding all those homes up there, and they fix it, and not even 20 or 30 feet up the line, it breaks again.
we got
another
leak over
now.
the thing on the Aquaflow invoice and so on, we've been through this before, the $67,000 deal. The matter is just informing us how we're going to pay for it and adjusting the budget.
Right, yeah, because I can't have you all approve that invoice, because you all approved the bid, but then you gotta approve the invoice for the purchase of
But
that
you got to approve the
equipment.
budget revision before you
But you
approve.
gotta do the budget revision before you all can.
Okay, now,
approve the
to
invoice.
answer the budget revision is also the money for Lloyd. I don't see
Yeah.
the Lloyd stuff here in our packet.
Um,
but it was in what you sent us.
Yeah, it's back in it's back under the manager's reports.
Oh, okay, well, we're going to vote on it now, I just
Right,
didn't
we want to
know.
appropriate the money and then I'm gonna have you all approve the estimate
But
for
we're
it.
going to do the budget revision and then approve it, I understand that,
Yeah.
but to do that, to make the budget revision was almost like a committal that you're going to approve it, you know, so.
Right.
Right.
Okay, well, I just had a question about that thing too. If in fact we're budgeting, it was like $130,000.
That's
Now,
all
let me
inclusive.
finish my thing. Okay,
Yeah.
it's all inclusive. Now, when you budget like that, you have to clock hours and so on. It doesn't cost us any more money because those people they're already being paid to do
Yes.
the job. So this job is only the materials and so
Just
on.
Yes.
material.
So what I'll do is, when
Now, is the budget revised, how much money? Is it just the amount of the materials?
yes, for the materials only,
Oh,
but I put in 75,000, I think it came out to be like 65 or so.
Well, you have.
I give a little bit of room
Sure.
for anything extra that may come in, so there's a little bit extra money there.
I just want to make sure we run budgeting at all 134.
No,
Okay,
we're
we're
on
okay.
budgeting 75 because the employees portion, even though when the hours the employees will put out there, that will be a part of the project. So it'll kind of in overall reduce the amount of the expenses you see at the end of the year, because that money there is going to get capitalized with the project when they actually do. So the project will cost us the 134,000, but that'll be amortized over the life of the line.
I got you.
Yeah,
So what
so
we're looking at,
our direct expense, if you look, and we'll get to this later in the meeting, is 50,000.
well, I don't have it in front of me. We'll get that when we go
It's
to talk about it later.
50,000 for the
Okay.
materials, but
So anyway, what we have in front of us is the invoice in the expression in the book. Right now, we're just asking to approve the budget revisions. So let's move on the floor. Is it okay to revise the budget to show the aqua flow invoice and the bulk water and also the Lloyd Avenue work out there?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, so we've got the budget approved. We'll go through the,
Okay, now that you've appropriated the money, now we're going to approve the invoice from Aquaflow
that's for
International.
aqua flow, but then we'll
62,000.
That's the 67,270.
727. I make the motion that we approve the invoice for Aquaflow in the amount of 67,270.
second. All right, that's moved and seconded. I don't think there's a lot of discussion. We've been through all this, right? You have a question on it?
We have a little bit of money left over. Does it need electric?
You have to run conduit, we'll have to run some fiber and some
Lighting,
power over there.
okay. And we got that in the
Is that
works.
covered? That's a good point, Paul.
Yeah.
And that was part of that, that's why I put it in.
Is that
80 instead of
contingency?
Just,
And that's why that will be almost $13,000 we can have
That's your contingency.
to go do all that.
Okay, so we're going to vote on the aqua flow invoice.
Yeah, how we're gonna do this is, right now, we gotta pay 35,000, and then we pay the remaining after it's completed.
Okay, when will they start?
6 weeks.
Okay, well, get it moving. I know if I go by there, I see trucks getting water all the time. Maybe this will be more manageable.
We don't pay tax.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, now we're gonna look at quotes from Anderson Equipment, and this is not in your packet, it's gonna be right here in front of you. Here.
And what's this about?
If you all remember, our air compressor caught fire and finally got word back from the insurance company that they're gonna pay full replacement value.
Okay,
So it's not gonna cost us anything. So what they did is kind of weird how they did it. They are going to pay us, they have a check, we should be receiving it. We haven't already, we haven't received it yet, Jason.
no.
So there should be a check we should be getting for 50% of the value. So once we replace it and give them the invoice with a canceled check for the replacement, they'll pay the balance.
okay.
So
When
that's-
did this burn up?
November,
around November,
Just a
yeah.
couple months ago?
yes.
Or was it down here or was it on the job or?
No, it was running the leaf blower out of the dam
Oh, you're
It
working
was
down
blowing
there.
the
We
leaves
were
off the
using it,
intake.
and it caught fire.
And we
Fire department was coming by and they put it
It
out.
was on fire.
prompts.
Yeah, they was gonna get pizza, they said.
Oh,
Glad they came that way.
so it was your version of a big leaf blower, right?
Well, we hook it to the pipe and run it to blow the leaves off the intake for Bob.
Sure, I got you.
Well, Bob does it. Actually, Bob burned it up.
And we,
It's coming out of Bob's.
it comes out of Bob's budget. All right, guys. You know,
Bob did it.
we do serious business here and we chuckle about it. People watch
Yes,
us.
but
It's
no,
very
it,
serious what we do.
it caught fire and it's totaled
Well,
out.
we need it, something we have to replace. Insurance covered it. What do you want to do, Paul?
Well, I'd like to ask, if we're gonna replace it then with a stationary one for that building only,
Correct. That's, we've already bought one.
Right.
So there is actually will be an air compressor. As soon as Scott comes and hooks it up.
So how do we meet their requirement of showing them, do we have to buy another one that,
That's what this is. This is gonna be, this is on a trailer. This is one
so
exactly.
we'll have two of them then?
Yes. Yeah, we have an older one that we have,
It's an old one.
old one.
But
This
we
was,
need, we need two, right?
Yes,
this was bought in 1995.
So we have two, we're replacing the one at Burn Up, very
Yes.
simple. Yeah. I
The
was
other
wondering
one's old,
Stationary, how do you go
Well, we
around?
have a stationary one now, so they don't have to borrow theirs.
Yeah.
Bob has his
They'll
own.
be actually inside the building,
Okay, well, that's a good idea.
Dedicated to that.
dedicated, wired up, so they don't have to run the trailer and run it like that.
Well, what action this has to take, it's a board, we just have to agree to the settlement to pay for it, I guess. I don't-
Well, I want you to, we got two price quotes. You got one from Anderson here. Disregard the hammer, that's what the breaker means. I had authority to purchase that, and again, the insurance is gonna pay for that. So we had to buy a new jackhammer, we had to buy a new drill, because that was inside the air compressor with burn up.
Oh, wait, let me back up here a minute. You say hammer,
He's saying this,
all the
Disregard
breaker,
that.
cost.
the breaker.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the word hammer all over this thing.
That's what they call a breaker.
Okay.
So disregard that. That's already
Okay.
already approved the purchase order for that, so that's already in the works. So the price from Anderson, this is apples to apples comparison,
Uh-huh.
we've got $27,088.
Okay.
From the Cleveland Brothers, theirs is $29,235.
No difference, right?
It's apples to apples. I mean, this has got a Kubota diesel, and this one over here has got, I think, a cat engine in it, doesn't it?
We'll go with Anderson, in my opinion.
Yeah, so, Bobby said that he wants to go with the Atlas. It's the cheaper one, obviously. So that's my recommendation,
Well,
is for you all.
You're okay with that, Bob?
The Atlas.
Yeah.
compressor.
What you want, you get, you know that, don't you? Okay,
Now,
Bobby
now,
wants the
now.
Atlas. What's your pleasure, guys?
I'll make a motion that we approve the equipment quote for 27,088 for Anderson equipment.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now, the
Thank you.
reason, I want you to understand, the reason you didn't have to approve a budget revision for this, because it was over and beyond what we had in budget. It's a wash, Jason said, because basically the money coming in from the insurance
Well,
company
it's
is
already-
gonna wash it away, so.
Yeah, it's gonna be paid.
Right, so that's why you didn't have to do a budget revision for this first.
Don't affect our budget.
Yeah, I'm not making a vote.
All right. What's the next item, sir?
All right, we're gonna move on to Water System Improvements Project Phase 3A, and we have, I wanna introduce our inspector in the back there. You've got Bobby Tenney.
Hi, Bob.
Bobby Tenney is our inspector on this big job. I guess you're gonna have 4 people working under him,
Bobby,
right?
Bobby,
From
and
each,
Bob.
each contract, or maybe more,
Maybe more.
maybe more. So, so you got the guy with the boots on the ground back there, and you got Steve here to give you an update on what's going on. With that, I'll go ahead and
I'll
let
give
you.
you an overview, then I'll have Bobby get into the weeds of the daily stuff. So basically, we've got Independent has started work up at Menards, kind of working their way down Pike Street towards Southern States. That's contract 4. Contract 1 is Bear. They have not started yet. They're still going to be a month or so, I think.
Where are they going now there?
What's
Nor are
that?
they gonna be working?
Bear is going to be in the Northview area.
Okay.
And then DOS is contract 2 in the Staley area. They've done some potholing. Obviously.
Weren't they
Put
doing
pipe-
something,
they
down- weren't they
put pipe
doing
in there.
something down here in Heartland, right?
Yeah,
down
that's
here?
where they are. They're putting pipe in the ground today.
Oh, they are?
Just getting started.
Just getting started.
All right.
Out by Bear's Gate, out by Bear Contractor's Gate. by the-
Oh, so
by the power
just
plant.
across the bridge.
Yeah, kind of a low impact area where they can kind of get their feet wet.
There was a story on Metro News today about the water board and the gas company doing this project, but they mainly concentrated on Pike
The
Street
gas company too.
in their story.
Says the water board's replaced the sewer lines.
Yeah, well, in the minutes you sent us about whatever the thing was funny that it has, they're working at Menards, it's spelled Menards. And I was thinking, my God, we're going clear out there by where you guys are, but it's Minards.
It's the wrong minutes?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm okay, I'll fix
Menards is home improvements, Menards is spaghetti. I spaghetti, okay. I'm just kidding you, manager. It's easy to do.
I'll make sure I fix it.
So, contract 3, I've talked about that, that's D&M, that's the 24-inch line up here in
Armory Road, yeah.
There's still gonna be a while waiting on the material, the 24-inch pipe and valves is a ways out, so I think they're kind of staging that appropriately. However, they have made, they do have a waste site in mind, and I think I saw an email come in this afternoon, agreement of their waste site or in their laydown yard, so.
What they call their inventory, hold it until
They're
they use it.
getting ramped up, so getting stuff ready. However, I did get some sort of news last week. I'll pass this out to you guys. This was from Independent, which is contract work.
And
Basically, this is the downtown area.
yeah,
And the concern is material deliveries, which
we've always been concerned about that supply chain.
we have. And so the second page of this, they actually have some estimated delivery times of when some of the components are expected to arrive. So right now, how they're concentrating on the main line right now, so they're basically putting the 12-inch water line in as they're going. So they don't have the parts to do the service lines. So they're just continuing with the main line. It's not ideal, but some contractors do it that way. Others do it as you go. So it's kind of their preference. They know that
Well, what will they do? I mean, if they put the main line in, they can't do the service lines, the street's gonna just stay graveled over it or something until they,
So
how will they make the connections?
They're putting what's called a cold patch, is basically it's like an asphalt that doesn't have to be warmed, basically. And so what they're gonna do, we've got to work this out with the DOH. Once in the next 2 or 3 weeks, once it gets warm, we're gonna basically come in and put asphalt in the ditch like every Friday. They're gonna say, okay, let's get everything caught back up. So what they're doing now is using what's called this cold patch, which is like a temporary repair. It doesn't hold up as well.
But they put the main line down just so I can keep my elementary level of understanding. They put the main line down, so they have access to go back in and make the connections on the service line to the meter,
Yes.
right? And so that means they got to open that up again, expose it, make that, and then eventually they'll blacktop it all back in. Well, state.
He's talking about possibly going that 7 inches of final patch in the areas that don't have services, maybe leaving a 3 or 4 foot piece of cold patch where you can dig up and just get a service on that. And they did get 40 corp stops for the saddles the other day, so he could do 40 of them, but he can only get to the curb because he doesn't have the angled shutoffs for inside of the meters yet.
Yeah, the anchor.
And I think it says
the
on there
anchor
what it
wall valve is the big component, but we've kind of discussed that internally and how we think we can move forward is because we're gonna make them test the service line as with the main line. So a lot of contractors will say, hey, can we just test the main line? We're like, no. We want to test that connection and the service line when we do our pressure test, makes everything's good. So what we've kind of talked about is, okay, if you get enough corp stops, get your corpse on, you make your tap in the main line, just run it over. We can put a temporary valve or whatever to test against where the meter stop goes, because that's all going to be in the meter pit. It'll be visual. If there's ever a leak, it'll be visual and above the surface.
So you can test that section.
They could test that, then they could take that temporary, or maybe they'll leave that ball valve in, whatever they choose to do. And then it'll all be tested. They can continue to.
As they test it.
Then as those parts come in, then they can come back and hook the customers back up.
All right, help me with the vision. I'm sorry, I'm asking all these questions, guys.
Okay.
But I'm visualizing on Pike Street coming from Menards, coming down that way. So we expose the dirt and so on, tore up the street to where we can put our main lines down. We laid them down. Now, when that's all done, say we go all the way down a couple, 2 or 3 blocks, and we're using cold patch on top of it to keep the roads as smooth as we can. Now, when the gas company comes through, or the city, wherever they're doing, particularly the gas company, their lines are going to be located in another part of the street, right?
That's correct.
So they're going to have a similar thing involved there. They're going to have to dig up another section of the street. They can't be in there when we're in there because you can't close the whole street down, right?
Right.
So they're following us along somewhere apparently.
I think they're actually gonna jump ahead of us in some areas. We had a call, was that last week, Jason, or week before? Week before. So we had a call with the gas company and we said, hey, you know, down by Wendy's, McDonald's, we're gonna be so deep, we wanna go first. You know, you can hop ahead of us in other areas, but we're gonna be the deepest. We wanna start with the sewer, then go to the storm, then do the water,
And
then do the gas. Because we're kind of limited, you know, with where we can go. Their gas load's a little more flexible and
so their placement in the street's a little more convenient than ours. We have to be,
They can install their lines a lot faster than we can install ours.
okay.
yes.
Now, the city sewage lines, as I was looking at those maps you provided us on these presentation we make, on the sewage lines, they're not replacing all the lines all the way clear from Artie's clear down to the west end, are they?
They're-
They've only got down to the west end area, aren't they, somewhere along in there?
Yeah, so they're basically going to go from Wendy's to,
You're in the forks, right?
Sixth Street.
To Sixth Street, okay, by the senior citizens up that area.
yes,
Oh, okay, so they're going past, okay.
got the fire department right
Fire
there
department, yeah.
somewhere. And then they've got some, they have some other.
They have some
ones.
relining, that's some
Relining.
relining to do up by Notre Dame on Pike Street, that
Okay.
area.
So they're going to be on Main on one side, that first section, and over by Notre Dame on the other.
Yeah, and there's a lot, you know, we talked earlier about affecting the festivals and stuff uptown.
Yeah.
And I really hadn't looked through the whole 2-inch thick plan set that I did the other day. From Sixth Street to Second Street, there's not a lot of work that goes on.
Yeah.
There's just some saddle replacements for services, changing the bolt valves out and
Well, there
replacing
certainly
them.
could be many with lead service lines there with all those businesses.
But we're putting and that might be the reason why we are putting new services in
Oh, we are.
for those, yeah. And we're recoating the bolt, changing the bolts out and rewrapping them. So that, everybody's worried about the festival and 10
So it
days
shouldn't
and all.
interfere then.
It shouldn't be
And
as
that's only on-
intrusive as.
That's only on Main Street, right? Pike
Main
Street.
and Pike gets the wraps too on the bolt change out, I think.
It shouldn't. That all should be
So
wrapped.
there's not much from Second to Sixth on Pike.
In downtown, there's not much, you're right, between there and, yeah.
So the central business
Go Mart.
district,
And really
City
from,
Hall,
and
right?
really from all the way down to the new bridge below Notre Dame, because you just replaced that line.
We
So it
just did
doesn't-
that.
It doesn't
when
get
we
done.
had that break.
Yeah, we're gonna stop, and Steve said I'll give you an update, whenever he's done, I'll tell you.
Ah,
what they're-
go for it,
Okay.
as well.
So they went from Menards to, they should get to the stoplight at Thorn Street Bridge today. And that main line will all be in, and they're
That's
To
one
the
of
stoplight where? Which
That's
bridge?
one of
St. Montpelier Bridge, about Thorn Street,
Montpelier Bridge, yes.
Thorn Street, yeah,
I
Thorn
know
Street.
where it is. yes.
And they've jumped back and put in they're putting in their hydrants as they go. The second crew that caught them, one crew started laying, another crew went ahead a couple blocks and laid, well, the first crew has caught them
Caught
now.
up to them
So
already.
that crew is going down to the,
Are they going to leapfrog? on
they're
some-
going down to the East End Fire Department underneath the 50 underpass, and they're
Yeah.
taking off to go down.
So they're going to jump in
So by
front.
the time he gets to Monticello, the second crew will catch him. When that happens, when they get to Monticello, the second crew is gonna go to West End night shift.
Yeah.
The first crew is gonna come over to Monticello on Pike and head back to Harding.
Wow.
So that's and just on the main line, not the
Gotcha.
side. But we're going ahead and putting the provision in for those side streets because we have to put a T and a valve. And then it just deadheads.
Well, I
for
would think
future.
they're on, Bobby, where, the funeral homes are and those big mansions and all those old houses. Yeah, they probably have some lead service signs. They've been there for years and years.
Oh,
those
yeah, I'm
houses.
sure.
We found some lead service already, and we found we've had to make some adjustments as we went from the plans, because we're trying to get away from the streetcar track. We fought it in front of Jackson Park a good bit.
You had to shift in there by the.
So we shifted and then we shifted from,
You mean
the
that
stoplight.
sneaker track is still there
the supports, the track itself isn't there, but the support.
underneath to hold the bed up?
Yeah, probably a foot down.
Okay.
So we've tried to get, they weren't liking it, so we've tried to shift it. And we just make sure that Miss Utilities called in Bobby's guys, Mark, and Larry's guys, Mark, and the gas company's been there every day. They've been really good. And the fiber optics all Mark. We can kind of just see everything and look and say, okay, there's a gap. We're gonna go through that
What is
gap.
that now?
I think that's all the steel.
What is now the steel from where?
So we think quite about correct. We're thinking that's an angle iron, but
Yeah.
it appears to be like two pieces of angle that skips a couple feet, two more strips.
What was the purpose of it?
It carried the wood and then the track was anchored to the wood, but when they paved, we think they took the track off, but they just.
So they had like the ties or the wood to hold.
Yeah, it's really not a true tie like a railroad tie, it's just more like a plank, but they take the track out when they pave, because if you let the track, it would just cause a crack all the way down the street, so. So we're shifting it as we kind of snaking as we go to get around everything.
Gotcha.
And like I said, Doss has started, they're down, like I said, they're kind of new to this, so they're kind of, maybe have some good guys that know what they're doing, but.
Well, they gotta get up to speed.
It's a big project for them, so they've got to got a place where they can start and not interrupt traffic too bad.
Gotcha. I'm sorry, Steve, to interrupt you, but I asked a ton of questions.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I think when Bear starts, they're gonna start on Ojai Avenue, up by Appalachian Tire. I think that's what they told me, they're gonna come down that
Down the
street,
hill.
come down to the end of 12th and then. it'll go.
Okay.
Yeah, D&M's probably got the easiest, there's not much out there in the way there, just out on Army Road. This line here will be the hardest part for them.
Will this all be on the communication, the page here soon?
I send Jason an email on Friday now, so.
And then what I do is I copy that, and I send it to all of them, send it to Candy, I send it to everybody, and they like that.
I'll check
Jason-
my punctuation a little better next time.
Jason Lane, I send it to all of them.
I need that app that corrects all your speech.
Will it be on
The project website's being tested this week,
this week?
and it should go live next week.
Oh, and yeah, like I said, 3 weeks, that's what their plan is to be, well, they think they'll take them 3 weeks to get to Monticello, then they'll be down, West End.
Will
And
it-
they may not go night, they've got some stuff in Hardy's parking lot and some other places where they can possibly do a little bit of day work too. And the state's gonna let them do some day work until it, saw cutting and patching the trench back and stuff, so as long as it doesn't impede traffic too often. The hard thing is you can't patch blacktop at night, because you're not gonna get an asphalt plant open to bring you 10 or 15 ton of blacktop. It's not gonna happen.
Plants aren't open yet.
They're opening, Greer's open in Morgantown, Greer out here is opening Monday.
Guys, when they get to
and-
springtime, they start.
And JF Allen is opening the 15th, I talked to Brian.
I'm gonna see we're coming this season. Yeah. But I could go back to your presentation. I'm sorry, we got off track there, but it all kind of relates. Okay.
Yeah, I know, Bobby, our Bobby, had a question about the fire hydrant laterals. I don't think you asked.
It's already done, taken care
You
of.
already got your answer, okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, what was the reasoning, just so I
I don't
know?
know what the question was.
The duct line.
The ductile iron.
Yeah, we've changed, because we didn't have an avenue to pay for anything over 15 feet. We didn't have a bid item for ductile, so we just, instead of having, if you give them the option to set a price for you after the fact, it may not be something you like. So we just went to the C900 that we have. We could just, we're gonna run it.
That sure makes sense.
Yeah, we're gonna run it. They make a fitting called a Foster, so you'll put the valve right against the T, and then from the valve to the hydrant will be flat.
So it's not gonna be ductile iron, it's gonna be C900,
We've
okay.
seen that.
All right, Steve, anybody else? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but sometimes the questions and dialogue, it gives people a better idea.
No, that's, that pretty much takes care of.
But what about contract, what was that, contract 3 for, what is that, Army Road?
D&M, yeah, they're just getting their lot approved and lay down yard. I don't think they're in too big a hurry.
Oh, that's not a huge project, is it?
And there's not, it's kind of a
$2
wide
million
open.
is all
They're
that is. 2 million.
Kramer's, their
Just 2
hardest
million.
line.
Compared to 19 million.
Bobby, you said that they have 40 corp stops.
Yeah, they have 40 of the corporate stuff. I don't know if they have their saddles in. I don't know what their saddles on, I don't know if saddles were on the list or not.
Oh, that's all.
His thing is he wants to, even if we put the saddle and the corp and we run the line over to the pit and we test the line, we can't do anything with it. We have to dechlorinate it. We can't leave the chlorine set in the line. We'd have to get it dechlorinated and sample it. We can't hook those customers up because we don't have any yokes or anything to put the meter in. Because we have to deaden the old line and cap it once we're done. So that old line is what's feeding this. We're gonna tie this into the new line up at Bridgeport Vault, I believe, where we're gonna get water from on that.
I see
end of
lots of
Summit Park.
couplers. I don't see any saddles.
Yeah, somewhere up there, we're gonna get water,
Tees.
make a hot tap. We're making a hot tap on the Summit Park line. I know that. they're across from State Electric. But we can't deaden that line, we can't deaden the old line until we have it ready to hook to the customers, and without the part, we can't hook the
You can't
customers.
put that main line in service.
Well, we can put it in service, but we can't deaden the old one.
You don't have all the parts for the new meter settings.
Yeah, we can't hook everybody into it.
So what's this gonna do with the paving project with the state for this?
We're gonna update, I think I'll just respond back, update the state, say, this is what we're being told. Again, hopefully we can get a few meter settings as we go, because the paving project, it's not like they can't come in and pave the entire thing a week anyway. So, we could say, work with the state and say, okay, let's get this part done and move on, we'll focus and work with the state, see if we can get, certain areas.
By a little
done
time,
as we
too.
go.
And where they're starting, Menards to Monticello to Hardee's, if you get that in service, then freeze that up. I don't think, the state will never start by October the 1st and be done by the end of paving season, I don't think, on all this. They gotta mill it and pave it. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, so we really think we're gonna be able to turn over the portion so that we can start working in the fall and we'll continue to work ahead.
Well, they're having this problem, but we know the other contractors is running the same thing, right?
They're gonna be, matter of fact, did you hear anything with Dawson? They have all their parts?
I don't think Doss has any either. Doss has Corn Main West yard, as I call it, down there. They've got, if they need, when they order everything they need. I went and looked at 27,000 feet of copper the other day that they ordered. When they get it, they just get everything. So they got all their meter pits down there, they got their valve, they got it's the brass stuff that they're lacking.
Billy said he was trying to get everything.
Yeah, they're lacking their brass. Everybody's lacking the brass stuff, so.
That's
And they said, I've heard before, it doesn't matter if you need 10 or 1,000, it doesn't matter, it's still taking the same.
There's McDonald and Ford, that's the only providers on that. That's it. And
There's not a lot of options there.
both of them the same.
What do you think's changed? We were anticipating a little lag time, but.
I don't know, we thought, we allowed them to go to a compression fitting, we thought that was going to speed it up because we thought the flare fitting was an issue. And, we thought by going to the compression fitting, that was gonna delay or speed up the delay, maybe not, the delay wouldn't be as bad, so. And it's, I'm hearing this from, not just this contractor, but other projects I have as well, they're all saying that brass is being delayed and all the projects.
These things aren't made on an assembly line, they're hands-on. Their fittings are.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a.
But
That makes it
fortunately,
weird.
the contractor's moving forward with the main line, doing everything he can to keep moving, so.
Boy, as we go forward and more communities and people are doing these line placements, it's going to be even tougher to get. I just don't see how we have the capacity. More expensive capacity, demand, everything. It's not going to be pretty.
Well, the thing is, you got the backer requirement that you have to comply with.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what Billy said, I could get you parts, but they're not American made.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's not American made the way things are in Washington.
he said, I can get you parts, but they won't pass the backer requirement.
So that you got in the week, all this stuff, let me do it.
Is there not a percentage of the job that cannot, that it all has to be?
It all has to be.
There is a 5% waiver, but you gotta have justification of why you wanna request a waiver. And so
28
one
weeks
thing
out.
is price. If the price is
Yeah.
25% higher than the foreign product, then that's.
Yeah, if you
That
can get
makes
a waiver,
sense.
you need a waiver.
The other item is,
Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
so we ran into like the Romac fittings, that there is no American-made product.
Now, what kind of fitting is it?
So therefore, our product availability is not available, and therefore you can get away.
What kind of fitting is it?
It's a Romac, it's basically,
That's the brand.
basically a sleeve. And it's adjustable for sizes, it's got more flexibility, so an oddball cast and, different size, it's got it allows you to not have leaks and use a wider range of diameter pipe. And however, they do make it American on some sizes, but not all sizes, so go figure on that.
Well, if they don't have it, they're not made here, we have to do it. They can't stop us with
And then therefore we can apply for a
that. The
waiver
waiver, yeah.
to what's called the de minimis waiver, and so we've got to track all those materials as they're.
Right.
But on paperwork.
What other good news do you have?
I think we had a pay application.
We did a requisition here.
Number 3,
Yeah.
and Shelby could not make it because she's at a bid opening in Mannington. So she said Steve would be better positioned to present this anyway. This actually is 121 pages. I didn't print them all. I just want to do the first 7 pages. So basically, just to cover, and you can see the breakdown. It just shows you the different funding sources coming from. But I'll turn it over to you.
I did not bring that copy with me.
Right here.
Okay. I usually don't see these, so I'm not being able to. But to give you the breakdown, this is, so this is pay and requisition 3. This is for.
915,000, I think.
It's
913.
basically cost. So most of the stuff is starting materials. And if Jason, that's, how many pages did you say it was?
121.
Yeah, so 121. So basically what we did,
Well, some of this stuff, sorry, Steve, some of the stuff I noticed.
Some of the stuff is our stuff.
It's our stuff being reimbursed, so not all of it on it is.
Yeah, not all is
contract.
contractors.
Because if you look at here,
Our
sorry,
light expenses that we had.
this right here is our
Projects
reimbursed.
will finally get reimbursed.
So 340, was it
383,000.
383,000, yeah, is our reimbursement.
CWA reimbursement.
So what we do when we look through these, we get invoices for all the stored materials. So we went through and looked at all the stored materials and we cross-referenced all those versus the invoices. Went back and forth, got all that ironed out. So it's a pretty lengthy process. Got a guy up with a Sam McDonald working in there. So he was pretty tedious, going through, reviewing all those, checking them off, make sure we have them back with certifications, et cetera. So that's why there's so many pages, is we got to cross-reference all that material. And, because Bobby goes out and verifies, like he went to their shop, made sure they had, it said 27,000 feet of
Yeah,
copper.
had 27,000 feet of 3/4. And they're the only ones that requested anything, right?
Yeah. they're doing
Yeah,
those.
because Independent only got 5,000. They just got a little.
So we have a verification or checks and balance thing where we double check it ourselves too.
Absolutely.
You guys do it, you go through it, then our guys go through it, and then you reach a conclusion.
Yep, we go through it, and so that's what they've submitted is basically mobilization and stored materials.
Okay. And how much is the total invoice here?
The total requisition is $913,798.59.
How many do you have there? This is what requisition number.
Requisition number 3.
Requisition number 3 is at the top.
I'll make a motion to approve requisition number 3 in the amount of $913,798.
Second.
59 cents. Motion on the floor.
Second.
Any questions there? More questions? The discussion's been pretty thorough, so let's all vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's move to the next item.
All right, Snake Hollow Road Waterline Extension Project.
All right.
Here's finally, got some good news here.
Good news.
Got some good numbers. I'll let Steve tell you the good news.
So we bid the, came in just $298,000, which is, I don't know, 70,000 probably under our estimate. And, so we got good numbers. So, I got a letter here, basically, how do we word this? Based on the certified bid tabulation and contingent upon the availability of sufficient funding for the project, we recommend making the following award to Midgift LLC, $298,000. This company was not somebody that I had heard of. So they did provide me with a couple references, and it's a family thing, so they don't have any employees. It's basically 3 brothers. They work, got a little resume here. Tyler Midkiff worked at Mike Ingram and Son for 5 years and 10 years of tribute contracting. Garrett Midkiff been at tribute contracting for 10 years, and Noah Midkiff, 5 years of tribute contracting. I've worked with, not necessarily these guys, but tribute contracting. They're a good company. And one of the references was a guy by the name of Brian Sanders, which is like, kind of oversees all of their construction. So I called Brian and asked him, he says, I can tell you without a doubt, you won't have any trouble with those guys. They are spot on, will do a great job. I have no concerns giving you a recommendation on it. I've worked with Brian, so, I'll take his word. And, so, yeah, I'm happy.
You guys are gonna supervise this, right?
I'm sorry?
You're gonna supervise this project, right?
Yes.
That's all, those are all 120,000 decrease.
Yeah, and I mean, and the reason, because they don't have to pay the prevailing wage because it's owner owned and operated, so. So,
Any other questions? It sounds like really good news. And this is all by the surface mine, the mine people are paying for this.
Yes, so this is all with the DEPA and that money. So I did get an email today. It's not all done yet. There's basically a process. They had an email today from the DEP. They requested some additional information. So they got to take all of the contractors' information. They got to run it through their database, make sure they're not on any kind of department list, and et cetera. So it's still going to be a couple weeks, I think, before we hear anything back, before we could get actual approval to award their job to them.
Okay.
But it's in the process, the paperwork's.
Where's this company located?
Meadow Bridge, West Virginia.
Meadow Bridge, yes. I know.
Where they're
It's been around Clarksburg,
It's down towards,
back
not
when
Golly
it was
Bridge, back
there.
when Meadow Bridge, up Fayetteville. It's like when you go to, the Greenbrier down through Somersville. That's
So
how
it
you
is.
go. Greenell,
Next to
Meadow
Lewis
Bridge.
Park.
Okay, no, do we have, since this is paid for them, do we have?
No, you still have to approve the low bidder.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
So I got
One second here.
a letter here, basically.
Oh, that's right, you had a-
Kind of pre-typed up. Now, if you want to
Thank you. David.
kind of read that.
I'll read it.
Midkiff LLC,
This is written to,
298,000.
this is written to Doug Smith. The Clarksburg Water Board met on February 26, 2025, which is today, and voted to accept your recommendation to award the project above to Midkiff LLC for $298,000. That's the letter that we sent to Mr. Smith, I guess,
Yeah, so basically.
and it's signed by
We
me.
provided our recommendation to this project. and that would be-
Okay, do you authorize me to sign this? I'll sign it.
I think it's only one page there.
Yeah, it's still sticker
Yeah.
paper.
They just have to paper.
I think Basher's got the quality paper.
Careful.
Make the motion to accept the low bidder and give him authorization.
Well, I make the motion that we accept the low bidder Midkiff and now $298,000.
Okay, thank you. All righty, we'll take care of that, and I'll sign this, and you'll make a copy for our records or something or what.
Probably need to get that on your letterhead, Jason.
Oh, you got your letter? Okay.
Okay.
When he signs it, you can scan it in or whatever.
All right, we got a motion on the floor, it's been duly seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So once you get that, then I'll sign it.
I'll buy you a couple because you didn't get it.
Oh, I thought Bobby was doing his work.
What I'll do is because I have
I
to
didn't know
stop
which
by
one you
at
like.
6 tomorrow,
I'll
I'll
get a
pick up
bunch of all of them.
originals of
We'll
these
get
for him
you
to
three,
sign
Four of them.
and get the checks. And I'll have him to go ahead and sign that letter and these all together.
Yeah, 4 of them.
Okay, it'll be tomorrow.
Thank you, I'm out of coffee there. Anyway,
You can stop by tomorrow afternoon to sign.
what's tomorrow, Thursday? Yeah, I can do it. Let me think, I'm doing something in the morning. Flag day thing. I'll have to look. I will sign it tomorrow sometime.
Okay, I mean, it'll be late afternoon. I'll call you.
Yeah, I was looking at my phone, but,
Yeah, it's on my desk being charged.
okay. Yeah, I should be okay.
All right, you have a motion and a second. You'll need to get.
But we said, we
Motion.
Did you vote?
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it's on,
Okay.
say aye.
All right. Okay.
2-1.
2-1.
It was 3-1. You voted, not allowed to. Okay,
All right, anything else on Snake Hollow Road waterline extension?
No, just gotta put for approvals to the DEP.
so you think these things will be done by end of the summer?
I hope so, I think so.
Those people will be
And how
very
many
happy.
weeks for construction? I think it's a pretty quick turnaround, isn't it?
I.
So 120 days, wasn't it, Steve?
So that,
For it to be complete, 120 days?
I was gonna say, 90 or 100.
I was thinking
I think
90
it was 120.
It's probably gonna be the material thing, yeah. Yeah, there's only 4 services.
I was gonna say, we have enough probably in our stock to, they can just reimburse us.
Might work out well.
You agree with that, Bobby? Our Bobby?
What is it?
Four connections we have out in
We give
our,
them the connections to get the Snake Hollow done if they need the parts.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
then they can reimburse us.
Well, yeah, but they have to be back up, to make sure they're American.
Ours are.
All our stuff.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, I
Look
believe
at
so.
that Chinese shit.
Sometimes I wonder about them.
You gotta turn that thing off.
I turned off right before you said that.
Good.
Build and more by American or what?
Build American, buy American, right?
Buy American.
Buy and build,
I'm not sure which is.
BA, I'm sure.
We're buying and building.
buy and build, you gotta buy and rebuild, I'll say, so buy American, build American. All right, so you got the Second Street pump station project. Did he give you anything on it?
Yeah, so, Casey Young has been working with Doug on this, and they had a call with Jeff Annabelle. They're gonna, in order for everything to match up with the telemetry, they're gonna change up, they're gonna do an addendum tomorrow, to put that out, to basically make sure the PLCs are compatible with the telemetry they can use. And probably also mention, some, actuators basically in a project. So then you could basically control everything from the plant, that you don't actually have to go up there and open and close
For the
valves.
valves and stuff.
Yeah, so I gotta follow up on that.
Who said that, Bob or Bobby? Or-
Bob Davis.
Yeah, Bob.
All right,
Yeah,
he
we
said,
got Bobby.
I think he said Bobby, and I think Bobby's gonna tell you that.
One more Bob.
Brother Darryl, Bobby, and Bob here today. Whoa.
Got the 3 Bobs.
So, that bid opening is scheduled for next week at, I think it's a Thursday, at 2 P.M. at, the Clarksburg Water
Sixth, I
Board.
think.
So, that might be delayed if we don't get everything switched with the actuators. That might also push a delay, but we'll schedule to get that.
You let us know. A Thrasher on the 6th.
Yes.
I had it on the calendar, but I don't remember the time.
2 o'clock, isn't it?
2 P.M.
2 p.m.
2 P.M.
Okay, anything else on Snake Hollow, guys?
No, doesn't work that well.
I mean, on the Second Street,
Yeah, there's nothing else, right?
ready to go now?
All right, on the TTHM removal project,
See Billy Wiggins is on the phone.
yeah, Billy and Scott, I believe, is on the phone, aren't you?
Yeah, we're on here.
All right, so as,
Hey.
we sent the procurement letter in on Tuesday, February the 11th. So on Wednesday, February 12th, we got an email back from Kelly O'Neill, which is the project officer through the EPA. It says, "Hi Shelby, thank you for sending the sole source procurement justification memo. I will let you know as soon as I hear back from our grants office." So she went ahead on that day and sent it over to the people to review that. So she was, when we talked to her, would have been the week before this email, she said that she would hope for a quick turnaround because she knows that the urgency that we've communicated with her,
Yeah, with the summer heat coming
with
on.
the summer heat coming on, supplies, having to get, Billy and Scott and his folks to get all the parts and stuff. I mean, we have money set aside for this project, but we can't spend money until we get authorization to proceed. Otherwise, we can't get reimbursed.
Right.
So, she could not give us a timeline, but she did tell me that she was asking for expedited service on that request. So, for what that's worth, but she did acknowledge getting it, and she was turning it over that day. So that's on Wednesday, February the 12th. So, I was glad to see her respond back so quickly. So that's promising.
It's not being held up by all this government grant stuff, are we?
I don't believe so, no, this money's been set aside. This money's already, is there, it's, like, it can't, I can't say it can't be pulled, but it's already out of the
It's been
DC
allocated,
coffers.
it's
and
been approved, it's ready to
yeah,
go, it's just a
It's
final
set
step.
aside.
I guess our question is, why is it taking 2 weeks to respond to a letter?
No, she responded right the next day. Yeah,
So I'm talking about
He's talking
giving us,
about the agencies responding to that
Oh.
letter.
yeah, in terms of,
Yeah, I don't know their workload, Scott. I don't know how many projects they have in the hopper, and, I mean, she did say that she was going to push it and ask for a quick turnaround. I can have Shelby reach back out to her, tomorrow and see if she's heard anything, because it's been, well, now 2 weeks, so.
I would
we're not-
say-
but we're not concerned that the grant is not gonna be available, right?
No, I'm not worried about that at all, no. I guess the worst case scenario, we may not get it in June like we want to, it may be July. But
I thought we weren't allowed to do anything, spending money until this has been
well,
actually.
I'm saying, we were hoping to get approval by the end of this month,
Yeah,
so they can order stuff next month in
That's what
order
I
to
know.
make our June deadline, to get it here to Clearwell. But say it's 30 days, I mean, we may not get it in June like we want it, but maybe July. So still, it's still in the heat of the
well, how
summer.
long does it take to put all this, this equipment in? Like the clear well and so on, how long is that going to take once we get the get-go?
That would be Billy or Scott to answer that question.
We have 12 to 14 weeks. The pumps and VFDs or starters will be the long lead items.
Well, if that's
But
the case.
we'll be doing,
We're gonna
we
get
don't have-
beyond the heat period, that's all I was saying. If we're not careful, we're gonna be in the hardest part of the year, we haven't even got anything rolling.
Yeah. July, August is our worst months, is that right, Bob?
Well,
That's our
there's
worst
nothing
months.
we can do. We're kind of a weight pattern. All she has to do is keep after them and say, hey, completely desperation of the season. That's a health
Yeah,
issue.
I
That's
was-
why they approved
I
it.
was trying to give, because I hate to push something down somebody's throat. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt to push this,
Right.
but I'm sure if I call, Shelly Moore Capito, because she's actually on the EPA committee, I'm sure probably her staffers probably can get inside and probably get this thing turned around.
So maybe 3 weeks rather than 2 weeks next week. sometime.
Yeah, if I don't hear something, I may get the senator's office involved and try to push this through so we can still meet that deadline.
So they understand the urgency.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I hate to do that so quickly.
No.
I want to give her some time to turn this around.
Hey, Jason,
I think 3
Jason,
weeks is enough.
one question that we have too is, from the letter that we wrote, is there a chance or possibility they come back and not grant sole source? Because that would
You know
delay
what?
it even more.
I may be partial, but I think the letter was great. I would be very surprised if they come back and not approve it. I really would. I mean, we provided data, real data, factual data there that the system works, it's turnkey. I would be very surprised if they don't approve it, honestly. I would be very surprised.
well, that's good news.
Yeah, I would be very surprised.
You never know.
Right.
You never know.
Never guarantee that.
Yeah. I'll be very surprised. Like I said, that letter, I took a stab at it. Of course, Shelby sent it. I took a stab at it, sent it to Scott and Billy. They put a twist on it there, putting some factual data in it. I looked at it one more time, made a few changes and sent it back to Shelby. Like I said,
Pretty decent.
very, very detailed.
Pretty thorough.
And, we try to, we could have made that thing 5 pages long, but we had wanted to condense at least to 2 pages. But like I said, I might be partial, but I'll be very surprised. I'll be very surprised if they don't approve. Be very surprised.
Anything else on this? Billy and Scott, thanks for joining us. I'm sorry you had to wait so long, but
Oh, no, that's no problem.
we're pushing on our end everything we can, I mean, without
Yes,
being
sir.
obnoxious. That's what we're saying. We just can't say 1 week, haven't heard anything, 2 weeks, but there's some point where you have to.
Yeah.
You can't just sit on your laurels. It could be 2 months if we don't do anything. Okay, nothing else? Thank you guys for joining us today. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
let's move on. I want to make a note that our attorney has been sitting here very quietly throughout this meeting. Joined us. Hi, buddy. He's on the call. And we'll let the records show in our attendance that he was on the phone with us.
Absolutely, yeah, it'll be okay.
Okay. Tim Stranko, our famous attorney.
Okay, we have, the next thing is our operation and maintenance agreement between the Clarksburg Water Board and Shortline PSD. Some of the things that's happened since last meeting, obviously, I signed the letter of engagement with Bennett and Dobbins, so we got them engaged. Staff has put together a questionnaire to be completed by the Shortline PSD staff. It's several pages of things that we need to know. So, but their general manager has had a medical issue. She's been in the hospital. Hopefully she gets released today, but she had the flu and pneumonia. She was in ICU for several days.
Okay.
So our thoughts and prayers are with her. But as soon as she gets back to the office, she'll get that questionnaire sent back to us, and then we know how to proceed on it. I mean, it's pretty detailed. I think it's 3 or 4 pages that Jason of questions and stuff. Mostly admin stuff, because these guys have already kind of got their questions and stuff answered.
Well, you made a field trip too.
Right. Yeah, staff's been obtaining quotes for equipment. I know, Bob's been looking at, some dump trucks, service trucks, excavators. What we plan to do there is probably send our stuff and we'll retain the new stuff here. And then Jason's gonna have to come up with a price, because obviously we just can't send it out there and not, so we'll have to do some transfers of money internally. So we'll take when I say our old service trucks is in immaculate condition. So when I say old, they're still in really good condition.
A couple years old.
Yeah,
So,
But when we were talking about your inventory, your stock out there, you're not talking about a bunch of trucks and a bunch of excavators, are you?
now you're talking one service truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously the only thing
Excellent.
brand new they're gonna get would be a trailer. 'Cause we don't
A
have
trailer,
that.
because you mentioned last time, a trailer, a
Yeah,
backhoe, maybe in a truck or something be parked out.
yeah.
I'm not gonna leave surface truck down there, no. It could be in our shop every night.
Okay.
Dump truck and,
Dump truck.
Oh, the dump truck, I
Excavator.
forgot.
sir,
The dump truck I forgot about, that's right.
yeah,
Dump truck.
I don't wanna
excavator,
leave
trailer.
anything down there with brass and all that stuff on it until we get something
A secure
situated.
facility, we don't have we don't have that now.
No,
And we don't start this till July 1, right?
Right, that's what we're getting everything. That's one of the things that Ben Dobbins is gonna be doing is, what equipment do they need? If we also reached out to Thrasher. Eric Sherrard is their engineer of record there. We gotta sit down with him next month to go over what their immediate needs are and what their future needs are. We gotta build that in. We gotta make sure their rate, how much with their current rate, what's that gonna do for us and helping them with their immediate needs and their future needs. So, and then they also have this current project that they're doing. And I talked to him about that. I said, if we're gonna be providing water to Lumberport, is the pump station there at Cricket Run, is it built to be able to provide that? He said, no, it's not. He said, we're gonna have to upsize those pumps and those motors over there in order to do that. And I said, well, that's gonna be an added cost. Is there enough money in contingency of that project? He believes so. So, but in order, and I understand this because their contracts with Shortline. So Shortline is gonna have to send Thrasher a letter saying, we have this O&M here. The water board is gonna be operating our utility. Therefore, you talk to them and we'll have a working relationship with Thrasher through Shortline, until they get that document. And I understand that's just a formality thing. But Eric said he's gonna send me some dates for next month. We're gonna sit down with Bob and Bobby to go over their whole system of, because they have all the mapping, I think he said 85% of it's mapped. And the meters that you're putting in is all gonna be GPS, which is great. We can.
And we're talking short line when you say meters being put in?
Yes.
Okay, I'm talking one report then jumped
Yeah.
over.
Short, yeah, we're talking short line. And again, I can't take, credit for this, but, Bobby, come up with this idea, all the old hydrants that we take out of our system on this project, we're gonna use short line.
Because we're still in pretty good shape.
They're still in good shape. So, not all of them, but because
You can tell.
so I'm like, and I talked to Doug and he said, that's a great idea. It's great use for them. So
It
I
saves
guess,
us money.
yes, that's
a lot
what,
of money.
that's what we plan to do because they are very limited on hydrants. Very far. Yeah. So that's,
good.
that's, just looking ahead. Let me see if I missed anything. No, I think that's everything, on that. We don't have any actual items that needs to be done. For any questions so far, I mean, we really got a pretty good handle. I know we've already got the, radios in for the tanks. Bob talked to Adler and found them on eBay. And I gave Bob the authorization and a purchase order to go ahead and buy them. Well, we got those in, right? The
That's for the
radios.
short line tanks.
Those are for the short line tanks, yes. So we're already getting stuff together, and buying stuff to make this transition as smooth as we can. So everything's going in the right direction.
We'll just have 5 good radios.
This is just the first time out. This is the first step.
Yeah.
Because we have not taken them over until
July 1st.
the operation and maintenance. I'm talking about the actual, if we would take over, not just the operation and maintenance, but it becomes our system.
Oh, yeah, I don't think we'll have problems there. Yeah.
Hope not.
We'll have,
I think
we'll
the
have a
walls
year.
put it up, but they say, hey guys, we're not gonna go along with it.
Yeah, we have a year to make that.
Okay, that's good. I thought it was 1 year.
Yeah, from July to June 30th, 26. We have that timeline to dissolve that agency. We have to do that through the county commission and PSC. It's not much.
Shouldn't be any problem.
No, we got the best attorney, in the state for acquisition and stuff
Right.
like that. He's done several of them, so we're in
Mr.
good
T.
hands. We're in good hands.
Thank you.
Anything, Tim, anything you have to say? Your mic's muted.
No, I think we've got a great plan in place and Jason is executing it perfectly, so I don't really have anything
Good
to
deal.
add. I look forward to getting this done.
As soon as we get all these equipment things and their immediate needs, future needs, what we're gonna do in the office and just different things like that. Once we get, then we can go to Zach Dobbins to do that financial evaluation. They're gonna put all this stuff together with the rates, because my understanding, they have a pending rate increase when they get their project to substantial completion, my understanding. So the rate that they have now is gonna go up.
That's to pay for the meters and all
That's
that
the
stuff.
pay for the project that they're doing. So once they get substantially complete, then their rates are gonna go up. So all that's gotta be factored in as well.
Is that on their entire system or just James Run or the?
I think it's on their entire system because the meters throughout their whole system. And the pump station provides service to their whole system.
But whatever they do, they spread the cost to everybody in their system. They don't just charge one run or one neighborhood.
Yeah, they have different rates.
Yeah,
They have two different
Yeah,
rates.
different rates.
How's that done? One rate for one, what's one?
Jones Run is, got a little bit of a higher rate than the rest of their system. Or Johnstown, is Jonestown or Johnstown?
James Run.
Jones Run.
Jones Run, okay, yeah.
I know where those are in there. Oh, I didn't realize they had a two-tiered rate.
Yeah, it's two different rates. So
Is that
customers-
because they did a project out there, something, and they charge those people more to bring them
I
on or something?
would say it was brought on into the system.
Because when they came in, they had higher costs and they just
They
kept
want
one
to
that
pass
group
that
of
cost
people,
on to their
other
existing
customers.
customers, right?
Yeah, okay. You asked a question, I wonder if they did have a second one.
Yeah. Any more questions on short line?
It's work in progress and it's moving pretty good, I think.
Yep.
All right, what about the next
Lloyd
one?
Avenue Water Line Replacement Project. Now we're to that. So you all appropriated $75,000, which is more than enough enough to do the project. So I like Jason's eagerness. He likes to put more money in there than what we need, because you never know when you get out there and you run into something, which I like his thought process on that. So really, ideally, just for materials for this project, you're looking at $50,172.75. Plus, we build in a 20% material contingency.
Right.
So that's another 10,000. So even with our 20% material contingency, we still have $15,000 that he's put in there for any unforeseen. So got plenty of money.
I move to approve.
Yeah. Second. Second, I have a question. As I go through this, with these things here, it's got like all these, not that I need to know all this technicality. You've got all these spacers and stuff. You gotta, that's the total cost. Doesn't tell you how many of the items are.
No, it's total cost.
Just
They don't
total.
tell you how many items. The other thing I noticed in this whole thing, I've looked, and maybe I missed it. What's the length of this line we're putting in? I don't think
1,200 feet, I think it was.
it's not on this.
It should be on, sorry,
Unless I missed
the
it.
top,
Where?
2
inch.
right here. No,
No, 2
it's 2 inches.
I'll tell us the.
Oh, okay, I thought I seen it on there.
I looked
Okay,
everywhere.
my
I couldn't-
understanding was 1,200 feet as well.
That sounds
I was looking at pipe and stuff and I couldn't find out.
I remember Jeff talking about it. 500 feet.
Well, it's not on, it's not on this form.
Yeah, I already applied for the WBDOH permit. I think it was 1,200, Jason, I think you're right. We're replacing it from a 2 inch to a 6 inch, and we're putting a hydrant out there for those folks.
Right, which that's the.
That helps them and it helps us to keep flush that.
So it's a 2 inch and a 4 inch as well.
Yeah, right, it's a 2 inch currently, 2 inch galvanized, but we're putting 6 inch PVC in with a hydrant.
With the whole system.
Yeah, it basically makes it for you.
It's a loop.
Yeah.
Goes around, I've seen how it is. Okay, there's a motion to do this, right?
Yes.
And it's been seconded. Let's do this project. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let's move on again.
All right, we're down to board member reports and comments. Anything from the board?
You pretty much covered all the stuff. I'm going to ask about the site on the internet for our project, but you got that well moving along and testing it. You have anything, Paul? No. I don't have any. Do we have an executive session to go to?
Jason, do you have anything? I know you're going to be meeting with Todd Dingus tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so we meet with Todd tomorrow. We're going to talk about some of the shortfalls that we've had in our rates. Like I was looking last year at the end of June, paired now at the end of our last fiscal year. And we'll take resale for resale's my biggest concern from the get-go. We actually, our revenues for resale were under the prior year by almost 2%. So even that was even with the rate increase that was already that was with the additional rate increase.
Right.
So, and that was before the rate, on this year before, which was June 30, and if I compare the two timeframes, we should have seen an increase, but we did not.
Because
So
of lack of, the usage drop.
lack of usage and drop,
Is there-
which that factors into our revenues, what we should have been getting in revenues.
Well, how many systems that fixed all their leaks and so on?
Yeah.
Consuming less water. and
So I would imagine to make up for that loss of revenue that we should be getting, there's probably gonna be, probably a little bit of increase on the rate of resale, hopefully not much, but there'll be somewhat of an increase. We'll probably have to look at that because we lost that portion.
Well, it'll be allocated perfectly.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, basically he's coming to reevaluate now that we're a year in. So when the rates went in, he's gonna sit down with Jason and reevaluate the rate.
Well, now you've got some history.
Yeah.
Now we've got several months we can look at it.
I think we based those rates on a year that was a little bit strong for us.
Yes, it was very strong for us. The 2022 to 2023 year was a very good year for us on water sales. And then the 23-24 was a very bad, it was
Average.
it was about our average.
It dropped.
It went back down to where it lies out, and it's even now when you see that little bit of rate increase from the July's rate increase. Now when I look at this time from last year, I can see the bump. But the thing of it is though, when you look at that bump, now when that bump, bump up here, when they base that rate increase and they base it on there, it should be higher than what it is. And that's where my concern is when we go to start paying the bonds off, or start paying on these bonds, we're not gonna have the revenues that we need with our current expenses, because it's kind of like we didn't get a rate increase for resale the year before, and now you put a rate increase on that, which it didn't increase like the proportional more that should have been increased by.
You know, if once they reevaluate this, if there is something that we need to adjust, it'll be picked up in the next rate increase.
Yes.
It's not like we're gonna do a rate increase
And then another rate increase.
Right.
After it.
So so if there was something that was an oversight, it wasn't enough, it's gonna be taken up on the next rate increase for 3B.
So it may be a little larger than what we anticipated to cover that deficit.
Yeah.
Okay, any
So-
questions on that? Anything else on that?
Other than that, like I said, we're gonna talk tomorrow, and, also today, I put out I don't know if you might have got the email before you came
The
in.
auditor's office.
I sent the auditor's office, put it out for bid, shooting for 3 years. I like to have an auditor for 3 years since we're getting into this, big project.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm asking for a 3-year bid. That way there, we can have the same auditors throughout, because they're all gonna be single audits. And I want, I'd rather have an auditor.
It's the same one there all the time. They've got the history, the
They got the
experience.
history, yes, they got the history, they'll have the history going in for 3 years, they'll know what's going on, so, hopefully I can get out the bid. Hopefully, if they'll probably get me on the list next month, since the time I put it out. So that means the bids would go out maybe April or May, probably more like, I would imagine May, and then we would, award the bid in, June. But we will need to do a audit committee. We'll need
Yeah,
to
I'd
put
like
that,
to
yeah,
do. Selected.
yes, so closer time to get that.
Let us know. We'll appoint somebody.
At the point someone, the audit committee, yes.
One of us.
Bob Davis,
Yep.
do you have anything?
No, I mean,
Nothing?
no.
Zini? Nothing?
Wow.
Just read.
Golden ones, golden ones.
Just to let you all know, I haven't talked about it for a while, but I'm still working with Jerry Beckett and Pam Knight at the Harrison County Board of Education on the water distribution apprenticeship program.
Yeah, that's great.
We're scheduling a meeting next month with West Virginia Rural Water Association and the BOE to finalize everything. So we've got a flyer that we're looking at. So we're gonna meet next month to get everything. Then we're gonna have a field trip, bring some kids in. And so we'll have an apprenticeship program here at the plant, which is backed by the United States Department of Labor. And the one down below is gonna
Bobby's
be,
area.
a local apprenticeship program. It's gonna be not through the US Department of Labor. It's gonna be between the 3 agencies. So they'll get a completer certificate at the end of that. So we're hoping to get the folks that run through that apprenticeship program, get their Munerman's card, their CDLs, just get a little bit of everything down there.
What agencies you talking about?
West Virginia Rural Water Association, the Water Board, and the Board of Education. Yeah, so we're gonna partner with that, and they'll get a completer certificate. You probably know what that means. She talked about a completer certificate. And if they don't go into the water industry, they'll be able to use that CDL in the gas well industry. And so, I mean, they can take,
You need a line.
they can take the skills that they learn here to other places, so.
Yeah, it's great. Great
So
opportunity.
we're pretty excited about that, so, other than that, we're ready to go to executive session for a few things.
I'll make the motion to go to executive session under West Virginia Code 6-9A-4, Chapter 12, attorney-client privilege.
Second it.
Moved in second and no further discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That meeting will be our manager, our attorney,
Oh,
three of us.
Hold on. Just to add in there, and Tim, I'll call you back on my phone, so we're not being recorded. We have an interview this Friday to hire an OIT for Bob's department,
An OIT.
operating and training.
Okay.
And
Let's talk so people can understand what they're
and
watching.
then, also I'm posting for, Jeff Humphrey's position. I'll be putting that out too. We've got one guy that's really interested in it, maybe two, you said, right?
Possible.
So, I'll be posting that because Jeff will be retiring in May.
So, that's it. Did you just put that in, insert that in front of this motion?
Yeah.
We moved to go into an executive session. All in favor, said aye. They said aye. We're ready to do that. Thank you all.